Hey people, so I just tried to watch 50 Shades Blacker. 50 Shades Black or whatever. 50 Shades of Black or whatever it is. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. I was literally like 10 minutes into it and just. I know I didn't even get to any of the BDSM stuff. I just. I don't mind dumb films. I don't mind bad films. In fact, the Wayans brothers who produced this film have produced, been in either in or produced some films that I actually enjoy. Um, don't drink your juice while you're being Menace in South Central, I think is the name. Is one of my favorite comedy films of all time. It it struck this balance, and this is the thing about parody. You have to be able to strike a balance between funny and not stupid. Okay, you can do stupid a little, but funny mostly. This film, just from the couple minutes that I saw, went way over that line. I mean, I love watching almost literally anything by Mel Brooks. Until he did Dracula Dead and Loving It, that to me was again way over the line. It just went from being Spaceballs, his previous film, was beyond amazing. It was either Spaceballs or Robin Hood Men in Tights. Both classic, perfect films. Right amount of stupid, great amount of commentary, great amount of just straight up, here's something funny, throwing a joke at you, seeing if it lands. If it doesn't, here's another joke, and it worked. Even personally, I love Blazing Saddles. It's one of my favorite films of all times, regardless of all of the social issues with it, using of language and things like that. I think it was relevant and part of the comedy of the time. This movie totally just was throwing stupid. Within the first couple minutes, we get stupid things like she doesn't realize that the door handles are on the outside, the knobs, let me show you. Okay, this is my door. See this? This is the hinge. See this? This is the handle. Hinge. Handle. They're on where? The outside of the door. On the inside of the door. This is the outside of my door. This is the part of my door you never see. There's the handle. But guess what? No hinges. No hinges. But what did she do? No. Instead of realizing, taking 2 seconds to use this thing called a brain, she decided to take a look, walk up to a door, see a handle, and hinges, and decide to try to open it like this. Yeah, because that's how normal people act. Here's the thing about doing comedy. Blazing Saddles, regardless of what happens in it, okay, most of the people do a version of how normal people act. I understand this movie's supposed to be taking place in this reality where everybody's incredibly freaking stupid. The blonde secretary starts off by saying, by starting off before she even walks in the door to meet this gentleman, that she has sex with him. And decides to blow in her face to explain that this is her showing the fact that she has sucked his balls. Comedy is subjective. I get that. But as somebody who is a fan of the Three Stooges, Monty Python, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I understand where comedy works and where comedy doesn't work. Three Stooges would do physical comedy extensively. And the thing is, it worked because it was established that these three individuals were morons and that they would be doing these things. Nobody else in the universe would act like this. In Blazing Saddles, Mungo was a brainless, mindless, monster who it turns out later is not so brainless, actually has a brain, even though it doesn't work properly, but yet they developed his character into being something deeper than it was. Within 10 minutes, I got where this movie was going. And it was taking everything I loved from what I had saw the Wayans do in the Don't Drink Your Juice movie, turned it up to 11, kicked it in the balls, and said, now here, it's going to be funny. We got a freaking STD joke within like the first minute of this movie. And I'm thinking, this is going to get any better? It's not. It's just not. And some people say, oh, it's unfair. You should have watched the whole movie. No. After the point at which the character, the Anastasia Steele character's, whatever her name they, gave her in this thing, when she was talking to the Christian Black, I guess, character, wow, how original when it comes to names. It's another thing with parody. Spaceballs. Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars. But you know what? Dark Helmet and Darth Vader, this guy, and this is Darth Vader, not Dark Helmet, even though he's got a big giant helmet, looks more like Darth Helmet. I thought it was funny, that's why I own it. They were separate characters. They had their own separate rules. They had their own separate realities. This, they were like saying, we're going to take part of the reality of this and try to put it into this universe where everybody is a moron. She was standing in the elevator and talking to him. As the door closed, they went. And the normal human reaction would be, one time, funny. End of scene. Instead, it was, This was not even 10 minutes into the movie. I have been talking about this movie for longer than I have watched this movie. And the fact is that the reason I wanted to watch this movie was for the BDSM stuff, which I never got to because it was so moronic that I couldn't even get there. I don't know why I'm so upset. Partially it's because, you know what? I was a fan of these guys when their earlier career. And they've gone off the rail massively. Second, they took a movie which I didn't like, but I felt was, it took a massively horrible novel and did a decent job at trying to revive it and trying to bring a little respect and showed the community in a much more better light than the book did. But this is going to start off with a guy who is a thief, who's a drug kingpin, who apparently pregnates a ton of women, and everybody in this universe is filled with morons. I can't handle morons. I can't do it. I literally spent 10 minutes trying to watch this film. I went live thinking, hey, I'm going to watch this film. I might have a good time. No. I had to shut the video down. Okay? Several people saw me. I was yelling. I don't yell at movies. I was yelling at this movie. And not because this was on, but because it was just stupid. So, yeah. If you want to know what my review of that movie is, even only after watching 10 minutes of it, there it is. I can't handle stupid. That's my review of this movie. Be well and safe.